Hello and welcome back for another art lesson. Boys and girls, we have been working very carefully and learning how to put together our lines and our shapes, our details to build our compositions, our pictures, our artwork with purpose, okay? So we're intentionally making things small or bigger to show that they're near and far away, or we're putting certain details in our picture to make sure it aligns with the words in our story. Okay, we're making choices on purpose with our work. So now we're going to extend that to color. So if we were at Lakewood, if we were at school, we would probably get out paints right now and we would start learning how to mix the colors. Unfortunately, we can't do that. We're online right now. So we will do that. We'll start learning this a little bit differently. Okay, so here's our color word. It is an element of art. Remember that the blue words are elements and then the red words are principles of design. Okay, so we're over here. So let's take a look at where color comes from. So boys and girls, all around us all the time, we have this white light. Okay, we call it white light. You can't see it, but it's light and it makes us be able to see everything. All right, if you took away white light, it would be super dark. You'd be like closing your eyes. You wouldn't be able to see anything, right? So white light is all around us with the light in your house, like if you turn on the light switch or the sun. And what happens is well, the way our eye uses it is a little bit different. We won't go into that right now. It has to be refracted or kind of like broken for all the colors to come out of it. So if you want to, you can kind of think of it as this: the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, which is like a blue violet, and violet, they're all hiding inside of the white light. Okay, so black, white, and brown, as you notice, are not in this list. They're not in there. Okay, they're separate. Okay, white is basically when all the colors are together and reflected, whereas the black is when the colors are absorbed, which is why we don't wear black in the summer, because it's hot. It absorbs all the colors. All right, so you'll learn more about that as you get older. There's a color version, so you can see that a little bit better. Okay, see the white light comes in. You can't see the individual colors, but the prism, or in some cases, you could see this with rain. The rain acts as a prism and breaks it out into the colors. And when rain does it, we see a rainbow. Now, a little interesting fact, boys and girls, even though we usually see a rainbow as just an arc, it's actually a full circle. Rainbows are full circles. The reason we don't see the full circle usually is because the earth hides part of it. Okay, either the horizon line or the trees, the mountains, the hills just hide it, okay, and we can't see it. All right, so I laid out all my markers and I wanted you to see that there are groupings of colors, all right? And so that's what we're gonna start talking about, is groupings of colors, okay? And colors really should be in a circle, and I want to show you why. So here you have the browns and the grays and the black. They're neutrals, okay? So remember, they're not a color. They're over here in their own little group. But then we have purples. That's a really dark purple right there. And purple and pink and red are related. But yet here, because they're laid out, they're on the end. It makes it look like it's a beginning and end. But it's really not a beginning and an end. They continue in a circle. And I think that might be why somebody invented a color wheel, okay? Because look, here we have purple and there's the red. Now, pink is made by adding white to red, but you can also have this like maroon color, which is made by mixing purple and red, and you get this like red-violet color, okay? So they're connected, all right? They're a continuous circle. So what I want you to notice is this. Here you have red, you have blue, and yellow. Notice how they're connected by this color wheel. I'm sorry, this triangle. Okay, those are our first grouping. These are called primary. This is P-R-I-M. All right, primary, that's our first group. They are colors you cannot make. You cannot make red, you can't mix colors rather to make red. You can't mix colors to make yellow or blue. You have to have them already made. However, those three colors in different combinations make all the other colors. So you can see when we mix yellow and red together, we get orange. When we mix red and blue together, we get purple or violet. When we mix blue and yellow together, we get green. And there, notice how they are on the second triangle. Those are called our secondary colors. All right, S-E-C, second, O-N-D-A-R-Y. Those are our secondary colors. Now we have one more group on here that we can note and look. They're the ones that are floating by themselves. See how they're not attached to any of the triangles? Those are called tertiary or intermediate colors. We're not going to talk about them too much, except that you need to know those are the ones in your crayon box that are called both colors. So for example, this is red-orange. This is yellow-orange. It's the name of the colors that are beside it. So as you can guess, those are the colors that you mix to get it. Okay, if I want yellow-green, I have to mix yellow and green together. Okay, now we're going to talk about families, groupings in a little bit differently. So there's our primary, secondary. We're going to talk about warm and cool colors. So here are our cool colors. Notice how it's half of the color wheel. All right, it starts with yellow-green, which I know can get a little confusing because it's yellow and green, but you can see it's a little bit more green. The green is a little bit stronger of a color. So if it didn't have as much green, it was more yellow, you might need to put it with warm. So that one can be a little confusing, but this particular example is more green. So you have green, yellow, green, all the way in through the blues to the purple. Notice how red, violet's not there. Okay, let's take a look at the next group. There's red, violet. It has more red in it, so it goes with the warm colors. All right, so those two colors are tricky, but the rest of them are pretty easy. All the reds, oranges, and yellows are in the warm colors. All right, so here's an example using warm and cool groupings. All right, so here you have warm, warm, and cool, and cool. Now black is a neutral, so you notice it can be used in either grouping. Now we're not going to use black and brown and white for our first assignment, okay? Now we associate these colors groupings with certain things or certain moods. So for example, you might think of the sun or fire with red, orange, and yellow. You might think of a cool ocean or green trees, a field, you know, of the green. So we're gonna start using these colors with purpose. So my kindergartners, we're gonna use our hands to help us remember warm and cool. So on a piece of paper, I want you to trace both hands. Now I'm right-handed, so I put my left hand down and I traced it with a pencil. And then when I went to trace my right hand, I had to go a little slower because I'm not used to using my left hand. So just go slow when you do the other hand. You can put them on the paper any way you want to. You can put one this way and one this way. You can put them this way, any way you want to, okay? Then I want you to get your colors out and I want you to separate them. I want you to put cool colors on one side and your warm colors on the other. And then I want you to color your hands the warm colors, all right? And the reason why is because it's gonna help you remember your hands are warm. Most of the time, our hands are warmer than the air. Okay, so our bodies are 98.6 degrees, roughly. Some of them are 97, but roughly, and it's not too often it gets hotter than that. I mean, here sometimes, yeah, once in a while in the summer it gets pretty hot, but if it hits 100 degrees, it's not very often. Okay, so usually the air is colder than our hands. So you can color your hands any way you want to. You can color each finger a different color, but I want you to only use warm colors. So you're going to need to look at the labels, or you're going to have to look at the color wheel, okay, and the groupings, and I'll put those pictures in Canvas for you so you can look at just the pictures. And you're going to need to make sure you only use warm colors. And then you can use all the cool colors any way you want to for the air. Now I blended mine. I blended the purple into the blue by pressing hard and light. You press lightly when you mix two colors. But you don't have to do it that way. You can do it any way you want to. Okay. All right. I think that's it for now. Have fun.